Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Paul from Respect the Tech, and I know. It's been a while since I've uploaded some new content, and I apologize for that big time. Unfortunately, a lot of life problems got in the way, and it was hard for me to concentrate on, coming up with new video ideas and picking up some new tech, and doing research and all sorts of stuff like that. So I apologize. I got most of that situated now, so I'm going to be bringing some content to you guys, more regularly again, like I did before. So be sure to subscribe if you're new around here. And let's just get back into it. I picked up the Xbox Elite controller when I actually got my One X at Best Buy. They had $50 off. This retails for about $150, so I couldn't turn down a deal like that. I know this is not brand new. It came out back in like 2015, but I've been wanting one, since the get-go, and I just, for one reason or another, I just never picked one up. But it's here now, and I'm excited to actually see what's inside and see how this bad boy actually performs. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So right away, you can see we're greeted with an image of the controller on the front and center of the box, and the box being all black, I'm a big fan of that. On the left, we have a nice image of the back of the controller itself, and then going on to the right here, we have a list of contents of what's inside the box. Starting with the Elite controller itself, then you get 2 interchangeable D-pads, 3 sets of interchangeable thumbsticks, 2 sets of paddles, a carrying case, AA batteries, and the USB cable. And on the back here, you see we have a nice detailed layout, pretty much showing you what you can actually do with the controller itself as far as swapping it out and what kind of performance improvements you can get using this remote itself. Now twisting the box up to the top, we're going to go ahead now and take out the trusty Batman knife and take apart these 2 seals up here so we can get inside and see what's in here. Alright, now that that's taken care of, we should be able to go in no problem. But wait a minute, it's still not coming off. Of course, there's still another seal at the bottom. Alright, now that we got that taken care of, we should be able to get in no problem. And sure enough, it's starting to slide right off. So right away, we have the carrying case here for the controller itself. I'm going to go ahead now and place that to the side and see what else is in the packaging. Moving that to the side now, you can see there's really not much in here. We have a nice long slim box here, and judging by the hole on the side right here, it actually looks like we have the USB cable inside. It is a bit on the heavier side, so I'm guessing there's something else in here. So we have the cable itself, a nice rope material, pretty long. We're going to set that down now, and we're going to see what else is in here. Sliding it down, and sure enough, we have the AA batteries, Duracell brand as always. We're going to go ahead and place that to the side. In here, we have the standard, the quick start guide, the warranty information. Who cares? Toss it to the side. And now on to the main event. We're going to move this over here, and we're going to go ahead and start unzipping the carrying case itself so we can take a look at the contents in here. I got to say, knocking on this case is pretty sturdy, and I think it could definitely be taking drops if you're carrying this around in the future. And here is the remote itself, and man, this looks good. I gotta say right off the bat, I'm a big fan of the color scheme. As you can see, the D-pad itself is not the traditional one that you're used to on a regular controller, but it feels good. The thumbsticks seem to be pretty responsive, as well as the triggers themselves. Another thing to note here is the controller actually has an extra grip to it compared to the regular, which is nice. And then turning over to the back here, you see we have the pedals already installed, which surprises me just because I think this is going to be the toughest thing people are going to have getting used to, is having the pedals there, depending on how hard you grip the controller. I don't want to personally, do any accidental presses and doing something in game that I didn't intend to. But other than that, I gotta say the controller has a nice weight to it, and overall it just looks and feels good. I have no really complaints about how it actually looks in any way. It's nice to see the sync button actually has that nice touch of Xbox screen. One thing I'm really excited though is on the back here we have the hairline trigger button, and once they're engaged, they're actually supposed to help you save time when you're actually using the triggers themselves. By that, you're not actually having to press down all the way down on them to still get the actions for them. So me being a big fan of first-person shooters, I'll be keeping an eye out on that to see if that'll help give me a competitive edge online. But then of course, moving the battery back cover here, you have your serial number information, and of course your placement for your play and charge kit battery or your batteries, which I'm not really a big fan of, but I'll get into that in the review itself. All in all though, the solid controller. And then in here we have the extra 2 sets of thumbsticks and the traditional D-pad, which I probably won't be using just because I don't really use the D-pad much in games anyways to begin with. And these sets of thumbsticks, they feel pretty good. I'm not really sure if I'll switch them out or not. I might. I'll give them a shot. The ones I'm really excited about though is the ones right here on the bottom, just because picking them up right away, I can tell right away that these provide really great grip, and that's something I'm going to be keeping a close eye on as far as my precision movement goes. And then of course we have our slots for the pedals themselves. All in all, I gotta say this is a great package, and I'll be letting you guys know how this controller holds up in time. So after spending 2 weeks with the Xbox Elite controller, here are my biggest takeaways, starting with the design and build. Overall, I gotta say I'm a really big fan of the color combination Xbox decided to go with the black and the gunmetal. I'm a big fan of how it actually turned out. No complaints on that end. I've always been a big fan of darker colors, so all in all, I think that's really solid. As far as the build itself, I'm pretty happy with it. Granted, it does weigh a bit more than the standard Xbox controller. It doesn't bother me none at all, and I actually like that. If it's going to be a bit more premium, I'd prefer it to be on the heavier side, so there's nothing to complain as far as that aspect goes. As far as longevity, we'll see how it turns out. I've only had it for about 2 weeks, so we'll see how that goes. I'll actually end up probably updating you guys in the comments depending on how that turns out. And now on to the customization, where in my opinion, this is where this controller really shines. Starting with the outside of the controller, you'll notice that the D-pad, the thumbsticks, and the back paddles are completely interchangeable. And what I mean by that is you can easily remove and replace them out with your own set and go from there. It's not hard at all. You don't have to worry about actually breaking the controller when you're doing this, and when you actually put them back into place, there's like a little magnetic pull that you'll feel once you're actually about to put it in, and it just slides on no problem. So I think that's a pretty sweet thing. One of my favorite things about the outside of the controller is the actual hairline triggers. And what I mean by that is when you look at the buttons on the back, you see that when these are not toggled, when you're pressing down on the trigger, you actually have to press down all the way to get that action. So if you're playing a shooting game, for example, having to press that all the way down, you do lose a split second of time where it can make a big difference to whether you're actually going to get the kill or you're going to die first. So when you're actually enabling something like this, you'll see that when you're actually pressing down on the trigger, you'll notice that it's only going down about halfway now instead of doing the full motion, but you're still getting the effect like if you actually pushed it down all the way. So I think that's pretty sweet, and it's a good time saver. Now, as far as customization inside the controller, once you're actually in your Xbox, you can go onto the Xbox accessories app, and on there you have some more customization options. And what I mean by that is you can actually do button remapping, so you can set different parts of the controller to do different things. Instead of doing the standard A B Y X type thing, you can actually set the paddles to do something like that. So you can actually have more movability in certain games. I find that to be a pretty big advantage when I'm playing a shooting game, just because I actually can jump and still look around and shoot or still do the proper reaction instead of having to worry about making sure my camera's in the right direction and only being able to press one button at a time. So I found that to be a very big plus. Another big thing that you can actually adjust on there is the sensitivity of the thumbsticks, as well as the dead zones for the triggers themselves. So I think that's pretty cool. Another big standout thing for me is on the communities. You'll see with the communities in there that you actually have some presets for some games that people have already made. So if you happen to play any of those games, you'll have some presets that you can actually play with. And if you decide you want to go with something like that, then it's real cool and real straightforward to actually set up on the controller. You're actually able to do, I believe, about 5 configurations to your liking. However, you can only preload 2 on the controller itself, and it's cool that you can actually switch between them with the flick of the switch on the front of the controller. So all in all, I gotta say that's pretty sweet. Overall, I gotta say, there's a lot to like about this controller. Granted, it is expensive at $150, but I think you're getting some pretty good value from this controller. It is a bit hard to find now for whatever reason. I'm hoping maybe we're gonna be getting a revamped version of this, because it has been a while since this was released. I'm very hard pressed to actually find anything wrong with the controller. If there's anything I probably would like to see improved, I would like to see this actually in the Xbox Design Lab. Maybe I could do a different color combination. I do know that Colorware actually does do their own customizations of the Elite controller, but they do cost quite a bit more, but the paint job is fantastic, so I'll be sure to link that down in the description below. Other than that, I would maybe in the revamped version, I would like to see Bluetooth capability, just because I think the connection would be much more stable, and it would probably be even easier to just do PC gaming with it, because if you have a laptop or a desktop with Bluetooth capabilities, it's just much easier to connect instead of having to do the wired USB connection or having to get the wireless adapter for it. All in all, I gotta say it's a great buy. Probably the biggest quirk I have with this too is batteries, and that's been a long going thing for the Xbox for quite some time, especially because PlayStation has the batteries built in. So I hear you when you guys say, "Hey, you know what? Oh, Xbox has batteries. You know what? Whatever. It's cool." No big deal. A big reason for that is Panasonic makes these fantastic batteries that I swear by. The N-Loop batteries, they have the standard ones here, which are the blue ones, and they have the N-Loop Pros, which are my personal go-tos in my Xbox controllers. Pretty much the big difference between the two is that you get some longer life out of the N-Loop Pros, but you can't charge them as many times. You don't get as many charge cycles as you would with the standard one. So I mean that's the big trade-off. But all in all, I think if you get some N-Loops, whether you go standard or Pro, it's really hard to go wrong with either one. I'll be sure to link these down in the description below. I'm not a big fan of the Xbox Play and Charge kit. I did used to own that a while back, and I found that the battery over time just wouldn't hold up, and it just wouldn't hold a charge at all. So I would say stay away from those and get the N-Loops for sure. Again, coming in at 150 bucks, it's hard to go wrong. I will say, I've only had this for 2 weeks, so I haven't had any issues yet. But if you are considering picking this up, get the warranty wherever you get it from, whether it be online or at your local retailer, Best Buy, Target, wherever. Get the warranty. It's totally worth it. If you do your research, you'll notice that people start having issues with stick drift and the triggers start messing up or buttons stop responding. So save yourself the hassle and get the warranty for it for the extra, maybe 10, 20 bucks, whatever. I think it's totally worth it. I don't, recommend warranties for everything, but for something like this, over time, these things will fail. And if you expect to, be playing hours and hours on end, I think in the long run, it's just better. You're better off getting the warranty for it, having yourself covered. Even if you have a hard time finding these in the future, you'll still be able to get some money back. And maybe, hey, if there's an Elite 2.0 or something like that, then you'll be able to use your reimbursement and get that instead. If there's another thing that I would probably like to see in these is maybe even wireless charging. I know it sounds crazy, but hear me out on this. I would like to see something to where maybe if they had something built into the back here, so when you're actually laying this down, you can actually charge this. With wireless charging being a big thing now in phones, I can totally see this coming to gaming controllers, whether it be the PlayStation, the Xbox, whatever. I would really like to see something like that being incorporated into controllers somehow. Whether people are a fan of it or not. Hey, I'm just speaking what I would like to see. All in all, though, I say this is still a good buy. So if you guys are interested in picking this up, please be sure to click on one of my links down below. And if you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to write me down in the comment section down below or hit me up on one of my social medias at respect_tech951. And of course, if you're new around here, don't hesitate, subscribe. There's going to be a lot more content coming soon. I know I haven't dropped a video in a while, but all that's going to change. So I'm getting back into the swing of things. So guys, you got to stick with me here. Until then, this is Paul from Respect the Tech, and I'll see you guys in the next video.